Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Straight faces. This is Lisa Ware, Senior Group Leader. Very nice to see you all. And as promised, I haven't forgotten, last week we decided to continue with the whole thing of how do we approach people and the different ways. And last week we went over our warm list, our referrals, our contacts. This time we're going through what is known as the 20K giveaway or mortgage freedom. And as lots of you will know, I am the lady that began it all back in 2004 with the Ideal Home exhibition in Bournemouth. And at that time, I came up with the idea of win a mini mini. There was no mini, and then Charles Wiggoder, our then CEO, decided to offer a mini because it was such a success. And it's kind of grown. And it's a fabulous way of reaching out to people that you don't know. Now, for some folk, that would sound horrifying, but for many of us, when we first start out, don't ask me why, but those we know, love, and like and trust just don't seem to reciprocate that when it comes to reducing their bills. Hey ho, how surprising is that? Because you would think everybody would want to see their bills reduced with better quality services and simpler billing. But I think there's a thing called ego that gets in the way. And the ego plays massively in all of our lives. The ego prevents us from doing lots of things, to be honest. And it's usually that, and you must take this on board, up until the point they've met you, most people have done the best they can for themselves. All right, they've really looked for the best. And they've probably done the best they can for themselves. Okay. But they didn't know about Utility Warehouse. And that is because, do you know what? Hey ho, they don't advertise. All right. So what happens is sometimes people kind of like hate the idea that they didn't find it themselves. Strange, but it goes on. So if you're looking to be able to reach out to people that don't know, like, and trust you, and actually, if you feel quite comfortable talking to people you don't know, this is the most fabulous way. There are many, many benefits. I'll give you some of the benefits. One of them is it makes it fun, because sometimes working remotely like this can feel you're a little bit on your own. It can be a bit all-consuming. And reaching out and working with others is absolutely fabulous. And I have found this the most incredible method of building team culture, making people feel that they're part of something, they're part of a group. We learn off each other. We have a load of fun. Oh my gosh, we have fun. We do things like we buy each other ice creams. That's not meant to be part of the agenda, but it goes on, and all sorts of stuff. And it's a great way of learning on the job, what I call apprenticeship. It's the show me how you do it, and it works really well. And the other thing too, it enables new partners to realize that not everybody is going to say yes, and that's just the way it is. So when people come into the vicinity of our stand, there are going to be so many people that just don't want it. It's a bit like you go to a restaurant, you might have a meal, then the waitress comes round and says, would you like dessert? And possibly most of the women will say no because they're thinking of their figures, but the waitress doesn't have a pity party. she just accepts that no is fine. And this is the same, and it works. And what we're looking for in the influx of people that pass us, the patrons or the clients that come into that show, event, or wherever we are, we're looking for the open-minded people, or the people that at that moment, for whatever reason in their life, it's just that's something that's on their mind. Oh, I must have a look at a new provider for my broadband. And hey ho, you happen to be there. All right. So there's lots of good reasons. So what I'm going to say to you is there is different ways to do this. First of all, I'm going to show you stuff that you could do for yourself as an independent distributor. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to go to my partner portal, which looks very similar to yours. And if you want to just jot notes down, you want to go to what we call the learning portal. So click on that. And then this one is so easy. Click on the A to Z of contents. And interestingly, it comes under the hashtag because it's there. So easy to find. Mortgage Freedom, the 20K giveaway. So if you click on this, and there is lots of incredible, super information. Okay, it will explain what it's all about. Okay, there's a little video by our director, Justin Bazzino, that explains when they changed it late last year to move from Win a Mini, which was for years, and it's moved over to 20K and Mortgage Freedom. There are guides. Now, if you click this, as they say, one I produced earlier, here it is. That's this one. You can look at the guide. You can have a read. It tells you what the contents are on the stand, what to say next door, buddying up, approaching a venue. It's saying more stuff about venues. It's giving you that you can book via access point or retail concessions. You do need to be at least by a team leader or above, all right? Approaching a venue, explaining the following, why you want to do it, buddying up. It says before you arrive, top tips. There is masses and masses of stuff here for you guys. Essentials. Look, it's there. You need some of the forms. You need perhaps some of the slips. Clipboard, pen, presenter. Do you know what I think is missing from there, which is the most essential? Your diary. You can't do this without making appointments. And I don't know why your diary isn't on there, but there you are. I've told you about it, okay? So what else? If we go back, okay, to where we were, okay, and then the next stage was this, you can also download 20K giveaway tips. So one I produced earlier again is here. There we are. If you click that, it's giving you loads of ideas. Now, I'm not going to go through this because I'm going to treat you as independent distributors and say, you can click on this and do this for yourself. What I'm going to do is go through the stuff that's what we call the challenging stuff. Is that all right with everybody? Okay. Right, so let's stop the share. And the hardest part, what we do is approaching people, whether it's by telephone, whether it's texting, WhatsApping, Facebook messaging, emailing, last resort, honestly. Don't think I've ever emailed somebody. I very rarely text or whatever, because as I continuously say to everybody, a text message, a WhatsApp, Facebook message, an Instagram, it's not communication. It is a posting, a message. It's not communication. Communication is actually where two people exchange. Ideally face-to-face, second is this, and then the telephone, because it means we speak, people hear we're excited, they hear our passion, they hear our intonation. And when we ask a question, we get a response. You send a text message, and I'm sorry if I'm like a stuck gramophone record, if you send a text, it could be taken with ambiguity, really scary. I've done loads of that in the past, okay? But if you send a text, you might, if you're lucky, get a message in the next minute, maybe an hour, maybe a day, maybe a week, maybe a month, maybe never. Because it's not communication. So that's why we resort to the stuff where it involves you both. Okay. So why is 20K so good? Because firstly, that's exactly what we do. We hook up with some paraphernalia, and it doesn't have to be a lot. In the early days, I had very little. I remember sticking a tablecloth over like a banqueting table, or if there was a table provided at a market, and I had a few bits and bobs just to make it look interesting. But what it was all about was what was I going to say to someone? Now, many of you know the 20K giveaway, we have little slips which says on it, hand this in to one of the organisers and they'll put you in the free draw. Now, this is possibly the norm of what we're used to. So if there was, say, 4 of you on a stand, and I'll give you an example, which lots of you know I've done loads of. In fact, we had one year, we did it every single month. We went into a local home base, which is at Branksome, which incorporates the correct demographic. We're on about serious home ownership land, high level A demographic, B demographic people. We're talking about across the other side is John Lewis. Aren't these the people we want? And there's like a Big Boots, there's a Home Sense. And when people are coming to home base, we could usually say to ourselves, they're people that actually want to keep their homes nice. Invariably, probably the biggest proportion of people going in there are our target market, which are home owners. So what do? Well, we tend to slip in these situations. Okay, so what would happen at a home base? We could only ever have a maximum of 2 people that would be on a, say, a 3-hour slot. We divide the day up. One would be at the entrance, and this is what you say. This is how you get it going. You go up to them with what I call the Barbie smile, where by the end of 2 hours, your face feels like it's going to crack. And you say, take this, with a big smile. This is your chance today to win £20,000. Go over to our team in purple and they'll put you in the free draw. Now, if you do it right, what happens? People are so used to taking orders in their life. You know, it starts when they're at primary school, it goes on into secondary, it goes on into college and university, and in jobs, they're used to taking orders. If you said to somebody, would you like to win £20,000? I almost guarantee you 100% they'll say no. Always, they'll say no. But if you say, take this, it's your chance today to win £20,000, go over to our team in the purple there and they'll put you in the free draw. Do you know what? Their brain goes in, I must do as I am told and I will enter it in the draw. Now, not everybody, but a lot do. And what it means is they come over to us without us having to jump on them. And then what we do is we have little application forms. Now you could do this whatever way you want. There is no set route. You could give them the clipboard with the application form and say, if you'd like to complete those details, I'll put you in the free draw and let them do it. Now, the downside is sometimes their writing is totally illegible and that's bad. So I tend to do it for them. However, once you've got that, then this is the bit where people think, oh, how do I link it to what I really want to talk about? Okay, well, I usually say to them, now you're in the free draw. And if you should get a phone call this year on the 7th of September, it's called Happy Days. And I'll say to them, I'll be in the venue. It's the Coventry Building Society Arena amongst about 10,000 other people. And if I hear the name, let's say it's John Smith, I say, I'm going to get up on my pedestal and I'm going to shout, yippee, because I know you've won £20,000. And if I'm there, I will win 10,000. Happy days. And do you know what's interesting? When they then realise that, well, actually, the reason you're doing this is because there's something in it for you, they then go, oh, yeah, we must win. Isn't that fascinating? Because they realise there was a catch, and the catch was you want to win some money too. Strange, the psyche is strange, but actually they are absolutely sure there is a sprat to catch a mackerel. And now they think, great, that's the reason. So then I say to them, right, you're in the draw. It's been happening for years and years. Can I just ask you, And then I point to the banner. Have you ever heard of Utility Warehouse? And they usually go, no. I say, that's normal. That's because they don't do things like TV, radio, taxis, billboards, buses, and all the other stuff. But they've been going over 25 years now. They've got over 1 million customers. They're the fastest growing company in the UK. And then I cut to the chase. I just say, I tell you what, let's forget the spiel. Let me just show you how good it is. And I show them my bill. And I show them the services and how my everyday spending with the cashback card has eliminated the cost of my mobile and my phone and broadband. I show them the back page of everything. And when I go down and I say to them, and all those tiny little amounts, they're very small, I know if they answer me, but they all add up, I know I've got them. Because if they say it, it's true. And I go back to the front of the bill, and guess what? Happy days. I say to them, so, as you've seen, you sound interested. Would you like to see your services eliminated by your everyday spending too? And if they say yes, here it is. Great. We need to meet. That's what you say. You don't say, please, can I have an appointment? You say, great, we need to meet. And I grab my diary because they've already said, yep, I want it. And then I say to them, okay, we do something called the alternative close. I say, right, I'm really busy here. Right, so do you work during the day? And they may say, yeah. I say, okay, so this is going to be evenings or perhaps the weekend. And we come to, they say Friday, and I'll say, what, Friday evening? They'll go, yeah. I'll say, oh, touch wood, I'm free. Could it be after dinner? Because I want to try and make it suit me. And they may say, yeah, that'd be great. And then we come to 7 o'clock. So I then say to them, right, well, that's 7 o'clock Friday. And that is, I think, the 16th. And they go, yeah. And I say, so yeah, you think you've got an appointment, but you haven't at this point. You've got to consolidate it. So I then, before I give them a flyer with my details on it, I say to them, so Friday the 16th, 7 o'clock, are you sure there's nothing could get in the way? You haven't got your grandkids turning up or something like that, have you? That you've forgotten about? It could be anything. You haven't got a dental appointment, whatever it may be. Just, and you know what it does? It piques their thought process and their brain actually goes, oh, I better think about this. And what I often say to them is, look, I very much treat people the way I like to be treated. I don't let people down. I'm probably coming a fair way to you. So there is travel involved for me. And when I give my time to someone like you and you give it to me, we can't ever get that time back. It's the most precious commodity we have. So I want to make sure this is right. And what you're doing in a very nice way is sealing in that appointment so it won't cancel. Okay. Now, people say to me, Lisa, do you ring up before? Now, if I'm traveling, say, I don't know, if I'm going over to Bournemouth Way, which could be a good round trip of 30 miles, when I get in the car, I phone them and they answer and I go, hi, it's Lisa Ware, on my way. Is there any problems with parking? It's a great thing to say. And they'll go, oh, well, you need to park, da, da, da. And I say, fantastic. I knew it was a good idea to phone you. Do you know what? I've just confirmed to myself they're ready and waiting for me. What a great way to do it. I don't send a text. I keep saying this. I don't send a text, right? So that's the slipping way. That's the 20K way. What's the way that Lisa Ware does it? Well, from the very beginning, when I came up with the idea, I always knew it was about building rapport with people. It's about getting on the same level with them, about not building confrontation. So let's take the same scenario at a home base, which is really hard because this is retail. We all know shows, events, fetes, fairs, county shows. People are there for the day. They're there to have fun. They're happy. Yeah. So what would I do at a home base when I'm stood at the exit on the little stand? I'd do exactly what I would do at a show. I have something called the never-ending slip. because lots of people will have a slip and they'll hide it in their pocket and forget about it. Others will have been missed by the person slipping and they won't have one. This covers every eventuality. So as they approach the exit, I kind of like spring into a nice jolly accent and I hold one up and I go, can I, note the words, can I take your slip off you? Not have you got one? Because that is a closed question, yes or no. Can I take your slip off you? And you see them look a bit puzzled, and I say, I never got one. I say, you didn't get one? Oh. And then I use what I call the all-encompassing arm. I go, come here. I'll put you in the drawer regardless. And you've got someone. And you're almost going through the same stuff. Okay, that's what I do at a home base. What else do I do? If I was at a show, event, a fete, a fair, whatever, as I was doing at the first one, which Melanie, who's not showing her face today, but I know she's there, she came along. What I was doing, and she will say to you, by the way, nearly everyone I speak to, if I get to speak to them, I've usually got an appointment. All right, so I'll go up to them and I'll say, what are you here today for? What are you looking for? Or what was I doing that day? I was saying to them, oh, weather's turned a bit better, because everybody talks about the weather, doesn't it? Weather's turning better. Are you here for the day? Just a while? Is there something in particular looking for? All you're doing is looking to make conversation. Yeah. And I had one lady, she said to me, she said, oh yeah, we've come for the afternoon. We just want to have a mosey around. I'll say, fantastic. And then I will say to them, are you going to go on the fairground? Just conversation. And then I'll say to them, can I just ask you, we're here doing a bit of a survey. Would you class yourself as a discerning shopper? And you see them look. I say, if you went to the supermarket, are you a grab the items off the shelf, stuff them in the trolley, or are you a person that's a bit more discerning and will look at prices? Now, can I say to you, by using the word discerning, they want to be discerning, most of them. All right. It is leading them. Okay. Because if they answer the other way, it shows that they're a bit stupid and they don't want to be that. Okay. So this particular lady said, well, and her husband was there with the two kids and she had a baby on the front. She said, well, if I leave it to him, well, he just grabs everything and puts it in the trolley and who knows what the result will be. She said, yeah, I'm a discerning shopper. Now, hear the link, guys. Write this down. I said, do you translate that through to things like your home essential services? And she sort of looked at me and she went, like what? I said, well, the boring everyday stuff, but the stuff that costs the most money, gas, electric, phone, broadband. And she looked at me, she went, no, I tend not to switch. And I just looked at her and I went, why? She said, I don't know. Probably better the devil you know than the devil you don't. I said, oh yeah, I get that. I said, but what's the point? Hear this. What's the point of bothering to look at prices in the supermarket if you negate it by not bothering to look at the stuff at home? One cancels out the other. And she went, oh, you're right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is a bit of logic, but it's also tapping into the feelings, all right? Because now she's feeling, yeah, actually, that is true. I don't do that. So I said to her, look, I'm not going to give you a sales spiel. That's what I always, I went and grabbed my bill. I go through the bill, just as I said before. And as I got to the back page using the cashback card, and I said, and of course, they're all very small, these amounts. She went, but it adds up. I said, you're right. And it's really fascinating to see how people, it's Alan P says, if they say it, it's true. If we say it, they put up an argument. All right. So it has to come from them. But she said, yeah, it all adds up. And I said, so as you can see, what it's done here is it's eliminated the cost of my broadband forever. Can you see? Why would I switch to another company that's going to cost me more money? And I said, and Utility Warehouse. And then I pointed to our stand that had a sign. I said, has got the cheapest energy. I'm sorry, but you can't make gas and electric any better. It is what it is. It's still coming down the cables and the pipes. Why would you pay more when you could pay the least? And she went, you're right. I said, right, we need to meet, don't we? She went, yeah. Now, notice the way I said it. I said, we need to meet, don't we? Now, you've got to have a little bit of to say that. But if you do it in a friendly, nice way, she just agreed and said, yeah. And that was it. The diary was grabbed and everything I've just said before, I went through. So the reason that I'm bothering to tell you this part is because this is the bit where people fumble. It's bringing it from you've got a form filled in with their details. And how do you bring it? Now, with that lady, I didn't even fill in an application form. I put her straight in my diary. And then I said to her, hear this. I went, oh, Charlotte, can I put you in a free draw? I said, the company's given away £20,000, or your mortgage paid for 2 years up to £1,000. And she went, they're not. I said, yeah. Oh, yeah, she said. Now, tell me the difference. By adding it afterwards, it becomes a bonus, not a sprat to catch a mackerel. Yeah? Big psychology going on here. So I then, in front of her, filled in the application form. And of course, she said to me, oh, well, I'd like the mortgage paid. Do you know what? I didn't even need to ask her, did I? Was she a homeowner? She told me by her own volition. And it's fascinating because what you've got is a willing participant. And you still fill in all the details because now you've got all their details that you can follow up if anything goes wrong. And what I'll say to you is, I have just before this call made a phone call from that show. And it was when I was walking around, and it's one of our customers. Excuse me, I signed up last year at the Dorset County show in September. They've been with us and I did it face to face, took all the services, not particularly easy, but they actually now think Utility Warehouse is smashing and they love it. And I was walking along with my husband and she shouts out, Lisa. And I turned around and there she is with her husband, Reggie. And we went over, we had a chat and they were sat with a couple. And Cheryl, her name is, said, oh, Lisa saved us loads of money on our gas and electric and da. So I then, at this point, brain goes into gear and I looked at the friend and I said, well, as a good friend, I'm sure she's told you, hasn't she? And the friend said, no, she hasn't. I said, what? You're having a laugh. What? She doesn't want to help you save money through me. I said, you're missing a trick here, Cheryl. And the lady said, yeah, give me a call. And there you are, straight in my phone, details. I've just rung her, I've got the appointment. So you see, there's lots of ways to do this. And a lot of it is just having a bit of what I call cheeky, chappy attitude. Be nice, be friendly, don't be pushy, and it works. Right, that is exactly half an hour. So unmute yourselves, okay? Does anybody have any questions? And to do with what we're on about, because it is on the recording. Anybody want to ask? Yes, Ian, fire away.
I've done quite a few of these 20Ks. The difficulty I have is actually getting the phone call afterwards. So I'm going to try some of the things you've suggested here. But the people that I've done it with, I've tended to do more just make an appointment to make a phone call and do a presentation over the phone.
Never.
So I'm always confused.
Not your fault. No, I've never ever taught that from the word go. Oh my God, we go there to make appointments.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm
Okay.
really
So,
glad you're on here.
yep. I need
Yeah.
more practice.
Well, the good news is, Ian, this is being recorded. You know it will get sent out. So if you could dare to hear me once again
Yeah, I can
and
do
not
that.
get bored, you could actually hear those lines, stop, pause, and you could write those sentences down, the linking bits. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I've got a 20K every week in June.
Well, I tell you
So
what, I'll be
I'll be
so
packed.
delighted to hear your conversion rate.
Me too.
Yes, Lindsay.
Just following up what Ian just said, not I've heard of people say do the presentation over the phone. I presume they mean doing it on Zoom, which is different from doing it down the telephone line.
Yeah, I think they sometimes when people talk about a call, they're actually meaning a Zoom call. Yeah, there's very few people will actually do an appointment that is purely on the phone and then they use the remote tool, because that's quite hard. I mean, I can't imagine doing that. I want to engage with people. I want them to see me doing all this gesticulating and all the other stuff that we do that actually makes us human. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions? Or
No,
are we there?
I'd just like to say I love that that discerning shopper bit. That is sheer brilliance. I wrote that down. I thought, yeah, that is definitely, because I often wondered the 20K and the mortgage thing, how they sort of go into it to work out, are they a homeowner? Are they a tenant? You know, what way do you go? But that is a brilliant way of doing it. Thank you.
Well, can I just say to you, there's so much psychology in everything. Okay. And on the day that the first one we did this season, which was it was called the Dorset Spring Show, it's just about having conversation with people, you know, and you've got to be a little bit bold. You've got to sort of step out a bit out of your comfort zone into the adventure zone and just speak to people. But actually, I have very rarely ever had anyone that's rude. The worst you can get is what I call the hand.
Yeah.
Like it's like and we did one which was between Sainsbury's and Marks and Spencer's at Hedge End, the biggest stores. That was probably the worst venue I've ever done, because everybody was just rushing to get their shopping done. It was the bank holiday weekend, albeit a Saturday. They did not want to be stopped. And you could see there was mums with kids. Please don't stop me. I've got these children with me. This is hell as it is. And you know what? You have to kind of respect that, don't you? Yeah. And if I think about me when I'm going shopping, I think I'm much the same. It's not actually a pursuit I really enjoy. It's something that I just want to get done. Whereas at the fetes, fairs, shows, and all of that, people are there. They pay to go there. They want to enjoy themselves. And actually, they expect to see people, guess what? Selling stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the big premise I keep saying to everyone, remember this: everybody wants to buy, but nobody wants to be sold to. Yeah. And that's a real key factor. And that's why we've got to be friendly. Guys, we better hold it there. Otherwise, I'll be had up for overstepping the time. And next week, it will be same time, same place. And we're going to move on to what was next week's? I think what I call the 3 foot or 6 foot rule. Yeah. Along with a bit of what we call network marketing, bit of network. Yeah. Guys, love to see you. Thank you. This will be going out, yeah, it'll be out by this evening, later on tonight. See you all. Love to see you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.